let's see what happens and catch some fish. I'm Bob Smith for bassandbobs.com. Let's go fishing. Well, to start, and I gotta get my pliers already. Just a little 3/0 hook. You know, my hook sets are so good now. They're deep, they're solid, and they hit the right part of the fish in the top of the mouth, because anything I throw that's Texas rigged, that has a sliding sinker that comes up against the hook, I tie it with the Snell knot, and I'll show you how to tie that a little later on. An easy way to tie it once I get all this stuff off and it warms up a little bit. But the Snell knot lets your hook pivot, and I'll show you that. And much better hook set. So anything that you throw with a sliding weight that sits against the head of that hook, use a Snell knot. Let's see if I can get something a little bit bigger than that. I've only been out here about 15 minutes, so that's a good indicator for maybe what the day's going to be like, I hope. He hit that 3 or 4 times. Beautiful hook set. Right in the roof of the mouth. Again. Oh, pliers. Not really big, but he's a nice little fish. On that Pit Boss, Texas rigged, little 3/0 hook with the Snell knot. Really helps on the hook set. I thought that was a fish. It felt like one. I have caught a trophy stick. Well, it's not really a trophy. Not a keeper either. I can catch a lot bigger ones than that. The water right here is 17 feet. So that's a pretty good drop coming off that bank as close up as I am. What that does, that lets me work different depths in the water column in one spot. And I'll figure out how deep the fish are, and then I'll just concentrate on that depth. Without having to run all over looking for water this deep and water that deep. I have it all right here. Since these fish are pre-spawn, they could be deep, they could be up shallow. Right now it's looking like they're down about 5 or 6 foot on that drop. And most of these banks, will slope out pretty good. They'll come out a ways and then they'll drop off to the deeper water. So it doesn't actually slope totally from the bank to 17 foot. It probably slopes out to about 6 or 7 or 8, and then it'll drop the rest of the way. You know, like I said, it's 30 degrees out here when I started. It's probably about 37, 38 now. Part of being able to fish effectively and have fun, because that's really why we're out here, is to have fun. Excuse me. Little guy interrupted me. He's a little keeper, but I'll tell you what, I am really impressed with the difference that Snell Knot makes on my Texas rigged plastics. But we're all out here to have fun, and staying warm, staying dry is a big part of it. I said it was cold this morning. It's still kind of cold. I have my Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier gore-tex, the bibs, and the jacket. It's a day saver. It keeps me. Gore-tex isn't going to keep you warm, but all I need under this is just a hooded sweatshirt, and I'm good to go. Been out in the rain, nothing leaks, not a drop of water on me anywhere. Got plenty of pockets. It's comfortable. I have no restrictions at all when I move. I have plenty of pockets. These bibs, they zip all the way up to the hip, which means that they're much easier to put on than some that would come halfway. But anyway, it's a day saver. It blocks the wind, fantastic. Rain don't get in. It's awesome as a cold weather suit when you got something underneath it. Now there's an optional liner for this to make it cold weather. But here in Florida, I don't really need that. I'm probably good down to about 15 degrees with just a sweatshirt. So staying comfortable is a big part of fishing well. Took the opportunity with the dead battery and the camera that I had changed to get out of my Pro Qualifier. Just warming up now. I don't really need them on. Still need the sweatshirt. That loop in here. Gotta get rid of it. It's driving me crazy. He said, "You do that. You get rid of that loop. I'll eat your pit boss." That's the first one that fell off. And he's running away. I'll get him. I'm trying to escape. I'm trying to get away. He did it. He got away. Caught me off guard. We'll go back and tell everybody about that. He came off because he was running. He was going toward me. And you seen it. That wasn't much of a hook set. But he was a fish. See if he's got a friend down there. Okay, the star of our show today has not been the location, the fish, the presentation, the bait. Okay, the star of the show today bend the knot. This is a Snell knot that I use. And it's time to retie, but trust me, this knot will definitely help you get better hookups, stronger, deeper hookups. Okay, the first thing I do is take it off, because I do have to retie now. Getting old when you gotta get your glasses. My nasty old pair of fishing reading glasses. Now let me get back to what I was doing so I can take this off. This is a really easy way to tie the Snell knot. I know you probably can't see this very well. I go in the hook eye, from the hook open side, from the open side of the hook. Just like I'm tying the Palomar knot now, I bring the tag end back through it again. Okay, for all intents and purposes there, I could be tying a Palomar knot. The difference is now, alright, we take that loop, instead of tying a knot, we hold it back along the back of the hook. Alright, realistically, a straight shank hook, this is easier to do on that. But I take that, I wet it, and then I wrap around the eye and around my loop that's going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I normally don't need much more than 5. Normally don't need much more than 5 loops around the shank of that hook up behind the eye, because I'm using 14-pound test. Then I'll take my tag end right here. I'm going to go back through that loop that I held. Alright, back through the loop that I was holding. And back through that loop. Then I'm going to hold my coils around my shank with this hand, and I'm going to slowly pull this one down to snug it up. Okay? And we make sure everything falls in where it belongs, that the coils are all laying flat, and we pull it down tight. And I clip off my tag end. Right there. That is a snelled hook. Now let me show you the beauty of the Snell knot. What makes it so great. Alright. I have my soft plastic on there now, and a fish grabs that. When I set the hook, that weight is against the eye of the hook. When I set the hook, what's it do? It pivots out every time it's kicking out. What that does is that gives me a better bite on the hook set, and it'll go in deeper. Most of the time it'll hit the top of the mouth. A Snell knot. A Snell knot. Remember, if you're fishing soft plastics, where that weight sits against the eye of the hook, that Snell knot is your best friend. Now you might hook it almost everything on the pallet with the Palomar knot on there. You could. You might miss one. Okay, that one could have been your tournament winner. Could have been a personal best. Your Snell knot. Your Snell knot. Kicks that hook out, much better hook set. So whenever you throw anything that has that weight against the eye of the hook, tie a Snell knot. Till next time, for bassandbobs.com, I'm Bob Smith, and I'll see you out here on the water, catching more fish with the Snell knot.